What up, though? Alright, we got a lot to catch up on, so give me my time, just coming back from off vacation. Let's talk about Tank Davis potentially fighting ABNER MARES. This is not shocking to me. A lot of people were talking about Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia. I knew that fight wasn't going to get made for several reasons, but you can just count this in the pool of examples of things that's going on over there at PBC. You should not be shocked given the Deontay Wilder-Joshua situation and given the Errol Spence, Terrence Bud Crawford situation. This just further proves that point, but I'm going to digress on that for now. To be honest with you, the other reason why I knew that this fight wouldn't get made is because, believe it or not, this fight is premature. Okay? And they would be shooting their wad early if they made this fight. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the fight would be much bigger if Ryan Garcia has at least stepped up in competition at least twice. Okay? See, when it comes to Tank Davis, they're treating Tank Davis now as a spectacle fighter. That's basically what Tank Davis is at this point. He is a spectacle fighter. And he has managed to gain the notoriety and the popularity without fighting the level of competition that the hardcores have been demanding. Let's face it and be honest. Tank is the face of boxing. Tank is the most exciting fighter in boxing, whether you like it or not. So as far as the pinnacle of popularity, Tank has risen to the top without even taking on, like I said, the level of competition that the hardcores have demanded. So if he was to fight Ryan Garcia right now, why it would be premature is because Ryan Garcia hasn't even stepped up to the levels that Tank has. Now, keep in mind, I know Tank has not fought some of the people that we would like him to fight, and this is true. But he has still stepped up further than Ryan Garcia. I think we all can admit that. But see, Ryan Garcia gets to escape with stuff like this. Ryan Garcia doesn't have the pressure of a Tank Davis. People don't pressure him to take on no stiff competition. Although there are some that wants to, it's not talked about, and it's not basically you know, something that people love to cry about like they like to cry about Tank Davis. If Ryan Garcia was to at least step up in the same fashion as Tank Davis did, that fight would be much bigger. These are facts. At this level, to make a fight with Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia is premature, because Ryan Garcia can do a little bit more to build his popularity as far as the sport goes, to make that fight between him and Tank bigger. Because as of right now, what are you going to give Tank? Luke Campbell? You know what I'm saying? Have at least 2 more fights like that. This fight will be a little bit more closer and at least a little bit more bigger than trying to basically start off from where Ryan Garcia is right now. How does Ryan Garcia got all them followers and yet be so behind in boxing? Ryan Garcia is the most unaccomplished lightweight. We all know this. So imagine if he just stepped up in the fashion that Tank has. I'm not asking him to go over and beyond what Tank has done. Just step up to the same levels that Tank has. Period. I think with Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya, they're trying to sell him before he actually loses. Because if he steps up in the same manner that Tank has, Ryan Garcia is going to lose. So they're trying to sell this product before any blemishes is on it. When the truth of the matter is, if he fought somebody like a Pitbull Cruz, if he fought somebody like a Mario Barrios, if he fought somebody like, you know, just somebody like what Tank has already done, that will put a lot more steam behind his name, and the fight will be bigger just simply off that. Tank can't get no bigger than what he is. Especially if he's got to this point fighting a level of competition that he had. And like I said, Tank Davis, whether we like it or not, whether you like it or not, is the most entertaining fighter in boxing and is the face of boxing. At this point, he is. So that puts Tank Davis all the way at the top. Imagine if Ryan Garcia tries to meet him somewhere near there. That's it. And the fight will be much bigger. So that's why when people talk about Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, I was like, man, that ain't gonna happen. Because you know what? If I was running it, that fight wouldn't happen. Because I would make Ryan Garcia build himself more. And I'm just speaking on the business part of things, not as the fight fan. As the fight fan, hell yeah, I want to see that fight right now, quick, fast, and in a hurry. But since in boxing, we always have to look at the business first to understand the sport of boxing, this is what it is. So no, it's not shocking. Yes, they're going to pivot someplace else. Of course they are, but this is the thing. Once they discovered they can sell Tank doing whatever, especially with that Rolly Romero, it wasn't no going back from that. And at this point, Tank is a spectacle fighter. That's exactly what they're using him like. The same way that they're using Jake Paul and all that, that's the same way they're using Tank. The difference is that Jake Paul and all that stuff, them fights are fake. If you guys haven't figured that out by now, I don't know what to tell you. But those fights are fake. But they know that you'll tune in because of the spectacle part. They even know that you have suspicion of it being fake. They know that, but you guys are still tuning in. So what does that say? Casuals run the sport. And since casuals run the sport, why am I going to treat Tank Davis like he's in a sport where people actually care about stiff competition? The whole Jake Paul YouTube fight thing proves that you guys don't care about that. It proves it. Of course, I'm not talking to the hardcore fans, but it proves it. So why, as a businessman, why would I take my product and water it down to please hardcores who don't rule this sport of boxing? Casuals do. In boxing, you gotta have to find a median. Something that appeals to the casual, yet the hardcore. That's the difficult part about boxing at this time and in this era. So I understand the way that they've been moving Tank. And that's why I support Tank. Because I've watched plenty of people do what Mayweather Promotions is doing with Tank. And you know what? Most of you have said little to nothing. Most of you have liked it. Most of you have enjoyed it and even encouraged that they don't take stiff competition. But see, when it comes to these fighters on this side of the street, you know, they come from the background that Tank does, y'all want them to fight all the tough fights. But I've watched you build people by fighting nobodies, and it's been cool. This is why I backed up off of Tank and supported him wholeheartedly. Because it's not fair to hold Tank to a standard that I can't inflict upon anybody else without people whining, without people crying, without people saying you're biased, without people that you're saying is this. And the only thing I say is I'm holding everybody to the same standard. I discovered in boxing, you can't do that. You personally as an individual, you can, but this is not how people compute and read boxing. They want certain people to take stiff competition, and yet at the same time, they're okay with certain people taking soft competition. But yet they tell you they want the best to fight the best. This is why people in boxing don't listen to us. And this all goes back, this is a fanboy problem. And throughout these videos, I have repeatedly kept pointing out fanboy problems, where fanboying creates an issue where we don't get the fights we want. That's what's going on with Errol Spence, and that's what's going on every other place else. If boxing fans stand united on wanting to see good fights, or the best fight the best, they're not even giving us a portion of what we want anymore. We used to get a little bit of what we want, at least 50% of it. Now we're dwindling in 25, 30%. And you know what? And it's going lower. So this is where fanboying becomes a problem. It's only when we hold all boxers to the same standard that nobody's able to hide. Nobody's able to franchise belt. Nobody's able to give up a belt. Nobody's able to skip around. We will all see good fights if fanboys require the person that they fanboy to fight the level of competition that the hardcores demand and that boxing needs. All what I said is 120% facts. So until boxing fans change in that manner, we're going to continue to not get fights like this that we want, or aged out fight. Abner Mares is through. Completely through. Yet you put him with Tank, it's going to sell. Because people just want to see Tank knock somebody out at the end of the day. This is why the Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis fight, it's not going to get made. And also because it's premature. And even I can say and admit that. Ryan Garcia at least needs to step up in somewhat of a manner that Tank Davis has done. People are too busy riding Tank and letting everybody else scapegoat. Put the same pressure on Ryan that you put on Tank and we might get somewhere. Until then, it's not fair for anybody to hold Tank to any standard that you're not going to hold everybody to. And that's the problem with boxing. And that's the problem with getting these fights made. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Van, I'm out.